Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
And welcome to the ComiQueens podcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Annie. And today we are here for another installment of our wonderful Advent calendar.
Yes.
It's another wonderful week. Alex and I have been extremely busy with either opening gifts or opening up some reading assignments. So we're going to go ahead and dive right in, starting out with December 4th, which happened to be a gift day. So I received Pickle Roulette,
which is a game that we have played before.
and I would say we enjoyed playing.
Yeah. I mean, there is really no losing.
Which maybe people think is weird, but honest to goodness, it is like the best.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm sorry. Pickle, actually pretty okay. I don't know why. It tastes good in a sour candy.
Yep. I also got sour candy, as your daughter likes to call them, little sour men, maybe more commonly known as Sour Patch Kids.
Maybe. I don't know. Some people might know them as little sour men.
They should probably rebrand.
I don't think that'll happen anytime soon, but I am excited. I think that we're going to have another round of the pickle roulette soon.
I think so.
So we'll have to stay tuned for that. But on to December 5th, this was a reading assignment day. So I'm really excited for you to dive into yours.
Yes. My first reading assignment for this Advent calendar episode is Focus on You. This used to be on Leeson. It is no longer on Leeson. However, we purchased it before then, so we still have access to it. It is 50 episodes, and I'm not going to lie. When I started this story, I thought it was going to be a little bit of PWP, but it ended up having a really good plot.
I thought the exact same thing when I started it. And honestly, I was like, ooh, I'm going to put this in there as a little bit of a curveball.
Yeah.
Because you don't expect it to have the growth that it does.
Yeah, it really does. So it starts off very strong with a couple, Jay and Kim June. And Kim June has decided to hire a photographer to videotape him and Jay without Jay knowing. So Jay walks in and he's like, what is going on? Now, our photographer, he's great. Love him. His name is Jae-yoon. And Jae-yoon is like super cute, golden retriever puppy, but a little awkward. And so, they get through this first experiment and everyone's, happy with how things have turned out. Jay finds that he was surprisingly into it. He enjoyed all of this. So after a while, a few days, some time goes on, and Jay's like, I kind of want to do it again. So he talks to Kim June to have Kim June set up another session. Kim June is like, no, you do it this time. I'm busy. So Jay ends up setting up a second session. It goes a little bit differently because Jay does kind of invite Jae-yoon to join in. So it's a little different of an experience this time. And then they leave. Things are a little bit awkward. No one's really sure what's happening. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately for Jay, things just get more awkward because he goes to work and finds out that Jae-yoon is the new intern. Mm-hmm. And no, what an intro.
It's a strong one.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. The one thing I will say is it was so early on that I was like, oh, Jay's relationship is not healthy.
Oh, no. Yeah. It's more... To me, it seemed like they were a little bit like hookup buddies.
Like friends with benefits.
Yeah, like they enjoyed each other's company, but like neither one of them really thought it was anything serious.
Yeah.
Because their breakup was like pretty easy. Yeah. So they do end up breaking up. Jay ends up getting with Jae-yoon. And this is where we learn that actually Jae-yoon and Jay knew each other. And Jae-yoon's a bit of a creep. He's got all these pictures of Jay under his bed, which Jay finds and is like, what the fuck? So it does just continue on from here. This is where we actually have the turn to more of a story with a plot. And so we do start to see Jay and Jae-yoon get into a relationship. They have some issues because Jae-yoon's mom does not like Jae, didn't like him when they were younger either, thinks that he was a bad influence, and is trying to set him up without knowing that he's dating someone with what ends up being one of Jae's friends, and doesn't know it at the time that it's one of Jae's friends. So then Jae is like, you're too good for me, you're too sweet and everything. They end up breaking up. They have a little bit of like some back and forth. They have some struggles with just lack of communication at different points. And they do go through some good story arcs with the parents too. So you get to see Jae-yoon confront his mom. And because his mom finds them together kissing in a hallway and is like, what is going on? And it does not go well, but he ends up confronting her about that. We get to see from Jae's background that his mom died when he was young, and then his dad decided, I don't want to be a parent anymore, and left him with the mom's family. And weirdly, he ended up on his own for a while, and then the aunt was able to take him in. The grandparents kind of just, he says, didn't bond with him, so they just didn't live together. Like, they, quote, looked in on him, but no one in his family was actually, like, there for him until he was a bit older. So he's going through that. He has some struggles with his dad trying to come back into his life, and does he want that or doesn't he want that? And it just was so good and had actually so much substance to it, and it was a great story. I loved it.
Yay, I'm so glad. I was so nervous. I was like, I know that Alex is going to start this one and she's going to be looking sideways to the ghost in her room like, what the fuck did Annie give me this time? And I was like, no, she just needs to finish it. It's such a good one.
Yes.
It was like definitely an unexpected 10 out of 10.
Agreed.
So the one that you assigned for me for December 5th was Go For It Nakamura. This was a story that has been on my list for a very long time.
Yes.
And also, funny enough, I had quite the debacle in trying to source this manga.
Yes.
Because the release was from years ago, and they're now re-releasing the manga with different, well, it has a slightly different title. It's Go For It Nakamura-kun. And they have different covers to it. So this new one's like a lot more sweet and subdued, but the old covers are very like art pop, bright colors in your face. And it was a lot more my style. So I had to find it on eBay, but I did end up completing it. So I do have volumes 1 and 2 that I read. This is by Hyundai. And since there are 2 volumes, I figured I'd just do both. Even though my assignment was 1, overachiever. Yeah. The story follows Nakamura. He's a kid who's entering high school, and he has a crush on his classmate, Hirose. And Hirose is just sweet. He's nice to everybody. Everyone likes him. Not even necessarily like one of the popular kids. Just, you can't hate him. He's such a good guy. And Nakamura is very standoffish, like very quiet. No one can really get a read on him. Some people kind of forget that he exists. And then he just sits and like broods in class, and he's got kind of like resting bitch face. So people are like, I don't know if he's scary or if he's just like not all there.
I relate to that.
Yeah. So Nakamura is sitting there, and this is kind of just a manga of a bunch of short stories that build up for you to kind of see how Nakamura does or doesn't get Hirose's attention. And so, I mean, it starts out with a really funny story where he's worrying so hard about how to greet Hirose that he like completely fumbles his words. But he's like, oh, I can redeem myself because I just watched Hirose drop his handkerchief. But someone else goes, oh, Hirose, you dropped this, and goes to pick it up. And he's like, no, you can't steal my chance. So he stomps really hard on the handkerchief. But Hirose's turned around and watched him do it. So Nakamura's like, here you go. And they're like, why did he do that? There are just so many like little funny stories throughout. He does have a pet octopus named Ichan, which is just great. So there's one episode where they have to prep for the cultural festival together. And they have a booth where they're supposed to prep live octopi as like a meal, and he is the only person who's comfortable with handling the octopi. And so Hirose takes note of it and he's like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that you like octopi. That's so cool. And Nakamura's like, oh, people have always told me I'm weird. I should say that I don't like them. And he goes, I don't like octopi. And Hirose's like, I can tell that you do though. And then he gets ink all over himself.
Oh no.
And so it is just a bunch of like sweet little stories. They do also have a couple of the short stories that kind of blend together to build more of that story. So they reference other ones throughout. Like they end up going to a field trip and you do get to see them grow a little bit closer and actually interact with one another. Like having an actual conversation for once. But it really is just a manga that I feel like focuses on the hijinks of having an early on crush and not really knowing what to do with it. And I think it does a really good job. So I loved it.
Oh my gosh, so exciting. The reason I picked this one out for you is because I was with you when you were trying to get this on eBay and trying to figure out how to get this first volume in the style that you wanted.
I know.
And I just felt like since we went through that journey together, you had to read it on the podcast.
It was a lot more trouble. I was going to say it's a lot more trouble than it was worth, but it was entirely worth it.
Yeah.
I had it pre-ordered at like 2 different stores and they were like, sorry, we're just never selling this again.
Yeah.
So it worked out in the end.
We made it.
We made it through.
So December 6th, we had another gift. My gift this time was stickers. And I love stickers. I have a little sticker book that I put them all in. And I won't read all of them because it was a few, but I am going to read some of my favorites. They're all holographic glittery, just for your visual reference. One says, burn my Kindle when I die, which, yes
I will.
That is your job.
Check.
And then another one says, excuses to buy new books, nothing to read, had a bad day, had a good day, finished a book, and treat yourself. And yeah.
So basically always?
Always.
Yes.
And then one that looks like a Valentine's Day candy heart and says, I prefer villains, which don't we all?
Yeah, absolutely. I would just like to note that there was like a bunch of these stickers and you got to choose all of the stickers. So I did get to hand curate the ones that I picked for you.
And you did such a good job.
They worked.
Yeah.
You know? The one that I got for December 6th was a book annotation kit, which I have been wanting for forever because I don't want to actually like mark on my book necessarily, but I need to find a more organized way of being like, I want to remember this. This was good. And like having an organized way of processing what I'm reading. Because I feel like I read so quickly that sometimes I'm like, that happened and I have to go back to it. But I know it was significant and that I remember if I just marked it down.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe I should slow down. But instead I have a book annotation
Now
kit.
you don't have to.
Yeah, now I don't have to. I'm super fast. So for December 7th, we did have another reading assignment that we gave each other. And I am going to start out because I have so many feelings about this series.
Oh my gosh.
My assignment was Blades of Furry. This story is a webtoon series, so you can read it on Webtoon for free. It's 85 episodes. And I actually have it in volume 1, which is an insane thing to say because the first thing I'm going to mention is I really wanted to not like this. Just out of principle. Because I was like, have I fallen too far?
Well, I mean, Fate did tell you to buy that one when we were at our bookstore. So
yeah. And here's the thing. Not surprising to anybody here, love supporting creators. And the artist for this one is Dea Muniz, who also made a print graphic novel called The Princess and the Grilled Cheese Sandwich.
Which you love.
Which I love. It is so wholesome. But Dea created this series with Emily, her wife. And so I was like, I mean, it has to be at least decent. It's like a wife passion project.
Yeah.
So like, okay, I gotta give it, it's kudos. It's also like the thickest print webtoon I've ever seen.
It really
so
is.
Volume 1 was like 550 pages or so. And it really does go up until like episode 36. So you're almost at 40 episodes in one volume. So it really is a good bang for your buck if you love this series. And it makes me feel confident that it's not going to be one where you're buying like 42 different volumes to complete the series.
In 2 different covers.
Who's to say? So this story follows Emil. And I will say right off the bat, I didn't know what animal Emil was. Because he kind of looks like a jackalope. Do you know what that is?
Yeah. Do you know what he is now?
He's a deer.
Okay.
But his ears are long.
Yeah.
So I assumed he was a jackalope. But they do reference him as a deer later on. So he's just a deer. But it took me a minute. However, Emil is new to the senior skating championship. And this entire series revolves around this skating championship. It's like a mix of artistic ice skating and battle skating. And so the skaters are expected to do these artistic movements and also knock their opponent to the ground. And whoever can do both, complete all of their artistic elements throughout the routine, as well as knock their opponent down, wins that round of the battle.
Sounds terrifying.
Doesn't it? Falling on the ice hurts so bad. So it's like not as bad as hockey, but it's definitely not fun. But Emil is a former ballet student, and he's really channeled a lot of that into his artistry in the skating world. He finds out that the first competitor he's supposed to go against has dropped out because they had an injury. And so Emil is now set to face the reigning champion for several years. And his name is Radu Basenko. He is a bat person. And everyone has these like theories about him. There are a lot of rumors because vampire bats are banned from participating in the sport because they're really looked down upon because they are bloodsuckers and other animals are fearful and like being close quarters with them. And so they're like, oh my gosh, what if he's a vampire? Because he has this really campy costume that he uses that kind of makes him look like one. He's like, I'm just a fruit bat. Like, it's just a shtick, you know?
I'm just a fruit bat. That's so cute.
It's really cute. So at the competition, Emil is really nervous because obviously he's a newbie going up against the reigning champion. And as Emil is doing his routine, he ends up cutting his hand, and you see Radu's eyes go completely crazed, and he goes to attack him. And so Emil is fearful for his life, but in doing so ends up moving really quickly and knocking Radu down, and he wins the match. So he becomes like a rising star. His coach is like, how the fuck did you do that?
So did everyone see that?
No, like, I mean, it's far enough that they didn't really know what happened. They just saw that he fell to the ground.
Okay.
But Emil does run to his coach and he goes, oh my gosh, he's a vampire bat. He was going to kill me.
Yeah.
And his coach is just too elated. Doesn't hear what he's
like,
saying.
you won. I don't care.
You won. His coach named Kochi. I do love him, but he is entirely oblivious. Once Emil goes back to the dressing room, he's like, I don't know what to do. Like, he's definitely a vampire bat. And in comes Radu, who is like sulking and like ears, you know, tipped behind him. And he's just like, please don't tell people what happened. And he gives this sob story that I definitely fell for of like, skating is literally all I have. I look like a fruit bat. I would never hurt anybody. Like, I didn't mean to. I wasn't going to actually hurt you. It's just like the smell of blood, you know, for a second threw me off.
Yeah.
And he's like, if anything, I was at a disadvantage because I wasn't going to hurt you. And it made me lose my routine. And he's like, please don't tell anybody. Like, I would never be able to compete again, and I just can't handle that. And you do find out that Emil is Radu's like #1 fan. So on top of being nervous that he was the reigning champion, Radu is also the reason that Emil joined the sport because he was inspired by how beautiful he was out on the ice and everything else. So Emil decides to keep it to himself, and Radu is just immediately smitten. he's like, oh my gosh, he's not like afraid of me. He's chosen to keep this to himself. So Radu starts making like huge movements towards Emil, trying to get super close. And Emil's a bit taken aback at first, but Radu ends up making an offer that he can't really refuse, which is, you're really good at the artistry because you were in ballet. So you teach me how to do that, and I'll teach you how to do the battle skating part. And then we'll both win. Like, we both benefit from this situation. And as they're skating closer, they definitely have a flirtationship. Like, the both of them, the banter is immaculate. There is someone who has it out for him. Her name is Sue, and she's a squirrel. And Sue has all of these conspiracy theories that she's running online, like trying to expose Radu as a vampire bat.
Oh, no.
And she's like, I need to find this footage, and someone needs to look back at that because I'm pretty sure that there was a cut on his hand and he tried to lick it, and everyone's like, back off. What the hell are you talking about? And so it becomes extra complicated because Radu does end up getting involved with Emil. And now some of the other skaters have noticed. They're like, look, guys, we see you going to watch each other's competitions. You guys are so obvious. And did you not know that you can get kicked out of the skating league for dating a fellow skater? And it's like kind of this vague rule. So they're like, well, I don't want to get kicked out.
Yeah.
And so one of their friend skaters is like, I actually dated a fellow skater for years and I found a way to keep it under wraps. So he's like doing a PowerPoint presentation on how to have a discreet relationship. And it just kind of comes to a head because now Radu has all of these different secrets he's hiding. He's trying to hide the fact that he's a vampire bat. He's trying to hide the fact that he's in this relationship. And you see at the very end that he's also effectively hidden the fact that his brother used to be a vampire bat skater. And so at the end of the book, you're seeing Emil and Radu realizing, like, I don't know enough about you. I want to know you more, and like wanting to get to know each other on that more personal level. It is genuinely so cute.
I'm so glad that you liked it. I know this is one that we looked at several times.
I know.
Before letting fate decide, so fate made a good choice. Well, I also got a cute one for December 7th. My story that was assigned to me was Snow Fairy. This is a single volume manga. It is so cute. I loved this one so much, and I also just have to say that I have a new favorite subgenre, which is stories about photographers.
You've read two this specific Advent week.
Yep. And I have Love and Focus, which is another one of my favorites. So if anyone wants to let me know about more stories about photographers, I am all about it.
You know, I've heard about this series about a photography club called Yari Cheen Bitch Club. You might want to give it a go.
I've heard that club is a front.
What?
So Snow Fairy is about Narumi. He is a wildlife photographer, and Haruki, and he is a small town farmer. It's wintertime, and Narumi is going to try and find snow fairies. He's out. He's doing his thing. He gets caught in a snowstorm. It's bad. Like, it's, deep winter. He was not prepared, which you would think, as a professional wildlife photographer, he would maybe be a little more prepared.
Maybe.
But he was not. So Haruki stumbles upon him and is like, ugh, I can't leave this guy here. I guess I'll take him with me.
Hopeless.
So he takes him home, and Narumi's telling him about trying to find these snow fairies, and Haruki's like, okay, this guy is crazy. But he brings him home anyway, and you start to see already that Narumi is just like super likable, and everybody loves him. The grandma loves him. There's a cat named Pooh, and the grandma and Haruki are like, oh, he doesn't like anyone, so, don't Don't pay attention if he doesn't, come up to you. And Pooh just comes and sits right on Narumi's lap. And he's like, oh, that's so funny. And then later on, Haruki's friends also really like Narumi. So he's just like, super likable, easy to get along with. And just has like one of those personalities, And Haruki's kind of like, I don't get it. Why does everyone like this guy so much?
He's gonna figure it out, I bet.
He is. So they realize this is a full winter snowstorm. Mm-hmm. So Haruki reluctantly says, you can stay with me through the winter while you're looking for your snow fairies. Mm-hmm. And so
that's mighty nice of him, honestly.
It is. It really is, because this is a stranger who he's never met before. So they are getting ready for bed. They're going to sleep. And Narumi, he ends up in his sleep cuddling with Haruki. And Haruki is like, I don't know what to do. I have to get out of here. And so he leaves. He ends up sleeping on the couch for like a few more weeks.
No.
Because he just does not know what to do about this.
Yeah.
And so we start to see them getting closer and getting along. And Haruki does start to make Narumi lunches and stuff for when he's going out to search for these snow fairies.
Really
it is cute. We see them looking through the attic of the house. And so Haruki lives there alone. His grandma lives nearby, but it was his parents' house. His parents passed away, so he lives there alone. And they're going through some of his dad's stuff. His dad had like a ton of photos and a ton of cameras, so his dad was also a photographer. And they go up there, and Narumi's like, I think that we can use these cameras. If you want to try and use one, like, I'll try and put it back together for you. Mm-hmm. They're all film cameras. And so he puts one back together. He's like, I think this one's in working condition. You can use it. It's got 36 pictures on it. So just take them whenever you want to. And once it's full, we'll get them developed. So he's like getting tips from Narumi, but also he's overthinking it. He's like, I only have 36 shots. Like, I don't know what to do. And so Narumi gives him the advice of like, don't overthink it. Just like look at the subject and try and like envision what you would want to show. And so Haruki ends up photographing Narumi as his first subject, and he shows other things, like he does the cat and the grandma, and he does his friends and some Christmas decorations in the house and just different things that you get to see throughout. Aww. And Narumi, meanwhile, is still trying to look for these snow fairies, but he has kind of become a little bit obsessed with taking pictures of Haruki instead. And so Haruki's like, oh, can I see your works in progress? Like, I want to see, because at the beginning, Narumi was showing him like, oh, look at these geese I saw. And now he's like, oh, no, you can't look at these because they're all of him. And he's like, he's going to think I'm weird.
It's a little weird.
It's a little weird. So Narumi ends up confessing his feelings to Haruki. And Haruki's like, I don't know.
The exact reaction you want to hear.
Yeah. So they're out in the woods, and Haruki is getting his final picture. Mm-hmm. And when he goes to take his final picture, he trips. And so it's like a blur, like he snapped it while it was in motion. He's like, no, my last picture's going to be blurry. And that's kind of a bummer. And so Narumi sees that there's another photo on it, because sometimes in old film cameras, you can get like an extra, like depending on how it lays out.
Okay.
So
is this something they explain, or do you just know this?
They do explain this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he mentions it in the beginning of like, oh yeah, like you could get a little bit out of this. It just kind of depends on how it lays. But Haruki sees the counter at 36 and that's what people see, so that's what they go for. But that is true. If you take pictures, you can sometimes get an extra picture at the end. Aww. So Narumi takes a final picture of Haruki like looking up into the trees. It's so beautiful. So the camera's done. He tells Haruki like, okay, go get them developed and you can look at them while I'm gone. And so at this point, Haruki does admit that he has feelings for Narumi as well. But Narumi was only here for the winter. It's spring now, and he has plans to travel for other places because he's a wildlife photographer. So he travels all the time. He leaves, but they agree that they want to keep in touch. And so when he leaves, Narumi's like, I think I got a snow fairy on the last picture. Narumi does eventually come back, but Haruki's looking through these pictures and he's like, oh, there's 37. That's so weird. And he gets to the last one. It's the picture of him and he's like, I'm the snow fairy. And it is so precious and so cute.
I love it.
Yeah.
I literally am looking at the cover right now and it is gorgeous.
This is one that I bought because the cover is pretty.
And I mean, what more do you need?
It really never leads me astray.
No. It has worked 100% of the time. Whoever made that saying, they're wrong. When it comes to actual books.
Yeah.
To be fair. Yeah, don't judge other people. But books, by their covers, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a great indicator. So, leading into December 8th, we did gift each other more things. Mm-hmm. So, I was gifted magnet page markers, which I really needed. I have so many bookmarks and forget them all the time. So they're really compact and cute. And they also have a bunch of flowers on it.
I love magnetic page markers. They're so cute. And I saw the flowers and I thought of you. I got a pin board, which also has my symbolism of the sun, the moon, and the eye. It's a planchette too, which my husband has a tattoo of a planchette. So it's all coming together. And I have a collection of pens to put on it, so I was very excited to get that.
I am so happy that I found it, and I was like, who knows Alex better than me? The next day, we also gifted each other things. I got a Jujutsu Kaisen mystery figure, and I got Nobara, and she's so cute. So I now have her literally sitting next to my Gojo and Geto figurines, and it's perfect.
Yeah.
I love her.
I got a pin to go on my pin board.
Really?
And it is from The Dirtiest High, and it's just like they're super cute little chibis.
Angel and Josh are adorable.
Yeah.
I love them.
It's so great.
On December 10th, we had another reading assignment.
Yes, we did.
And I think at this point is when I really realized, I was like, oh, wow, this is genuinely hard to fit in 3 reading assignments in a week of advent calendars. But I think we did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we did it fine. So I read Love Bites.
Yes, you did. And I know we just talked about this one and I've talked about it before, but I just needed you to read it.
You needed my opinions.
Yeah.
As did the listeners.
Yeah.
They always need my opinions. So I will say this one is one that has had me very on the fence for several reasons. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot to talk about. For anyone who has somehow missed it, Love Bites is on Webtoon. It's an ongoing series. If you fast pass right now, there's about 50 episodes. And this story is basically what I probably wish Twilight was. You have Kieran Callisto. He is a vampire. His mother was killed by werewolves. And he now has a fellow classmate named Mason Kane. He just gives off bad vibes for some reason. And you learn it's because he's a werewolf. Spoilers. But since we've talked about this one so many times, I just feel like I gotta hop into the nitty-gritty of this story. And, you know, say what I like and say maybe what I don't like.
Oh, no. Gotta hear these opinions.
All right. So there's a lot to like. One, Kieran and Mason, once they are genuinely together, are really adorable.
Aren't they? So cute.
On the qualm side, they start being together when Mason is dating Kieran's best friend.
Yeah, no. It's not a good look for them.
It is not a good look. And here's the thing, like they were definitely drawn to one another. And I'm just like, then why did you have to hurt Marcella in the process? I think like I'm pissed on 2 different grounds because before Mason starts dating Marcella, who is the human in this whole arrangement.
Yeah.
So much happens. Kieran breaks the pact to tell Marcella that Mason is a werewolf.
Yeah.
And Mason's like, dick move. And Marcella's like, I don't care, which I entirely understand because Mason was adorable. But she's like completely in La La Land. And Kieran goes and confronts Mason and he's like, do you actually like Marcella? And he's like, maybe I do. Maybe I don't. And I'm like,
think
that's bad.
I mean, he was just fucking with him.
I know.
At that point.
And they're good at fucking with each other. But also, based on when they broke up, Mason's like, yeah, I thought maybe I was drawn to you, but I wasn't. And he pisses me off the most because he realizes what's going on before everyone else. And instead of handling it like a man, he runs and like doesn't talk to people. And then he just makes out with Kieran on fucking camera in front of everybody at a party.
Yeah.
And then continues to do it after directly breaking up with Marcella.
Yeah.
It's a Playboy move. It's a high school, yeah.
They're so cute. I will look past anything. I don't care. I mean, they did some shitty things. It's true. The whole Mason, like, thinking that Marcella is the one that he was fated to because he's like, I couldn't possibly be fated to a vampire kind of makes sense.
Yeah. It does kind of make sense. Here's the thing. Out of all of my qualms, I enjoyed reading the story.
Yeah.
But the entire time I'm just sitting there and I'm like, that's a bad friend move. Oh, that's a really bad friend move.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering when it's going to get to the part where I feel like I've forgiven them because I'm hurt for Marcella.
Yeah.
And like Kieran, who's been like the long-standing friend, we're talking like childhood friends when they were like toddlers.
Yeah.
Like Kieran is sitting there pretending like he's mad at Mason and then sucking face with Mason when they're like privately in a tent at this school function.
Yeah, they're not handling it well.
No, I just feel like they're digging a deeper and deeper hole, and I'm gonna have to know how they get themselves out of it.
Yeah.
But I know that feelings are gonna be hurt.
Marcella's going to be mad, but she will forgive them.
She will. I do really like it. It just makes me sad because I'm like, we didn't need to go this far. You guys could have just said something. Mason could have been like, I'm gay. Just like Kieran did, even though he was joking at first, but wasn't joking.
Yeah.
Yeah. But am I happy that I read it? Yes, absolutely. I'm happy I read it.
Okay, but also, like, you just have to think about the last scene with the blood sucking. And that's all you need.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. They had me at vampire. So, like, I was gonna read this series no matter what. And I do genuinely, like, love their love and want it to work out. I just want justice for Marcella. And until I get that, I'm gonna be a little cranky with them and be like, boys, you know what you're doing.
Yeah. But, I mean, we did just go see Wicked that has, like, a similar-ish plot line.
Yeah, that is very true.
So... And we forgave Elphaba pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's true.
So, you know, just
okay.
food for thought.
You know what, Devil's Advocate? On the Wicked side, Elphaba technically didn't, like, go with Fiyero until after the wedding was broken up.
Yeah, but...
Emotionally, there was tension.
Emotionally, it was not looking so good.
Yeah.
Also, she said some mean things.
Yeah. And I think Glinda would have too if she was just like better at her comebacks.
Yeah, probably. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, I feel like that one is more about friendship than about love anyway. And
it is.
I love them.
I know.
I know that's an aside.
I know, but I do like the story. I'm going to continue with the story. The scene with the blood sucking was great.
It was at that point that I was like, Annie has to read this.
Yeah. And you know what? You were right. I did. And I'm glad.
So the last one that we're ending on today is Hygieia. This is a definitely different track than we've been on with our cute, sweet, fluffy stories.
Any photography in this one?
No photography in this one. This is a short story. It's on Manta. There are 4 episodes and a prologue. Mm-hmm. This one is about Tosser, and he is a kind of stable boy. He kind of does a little bit of everything. Kind of an apprentice to
Yeah.
a guy named Mr. Smith, which that's not a good sign. But he's just living a monotonous life in a small town where they worship the goddess Hygieia.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just going about his life. Everything is normal. Until one day when a traveler comes in, and the traveler is a journalist.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Haris. And Haris is beautiful, just to start off. This whole art style is gorgeous.
Yeah.
So unique. I loved it. He's got those bright green eyes. So automatically I was just like, I love him. Now we have the journalist coming to visit Tosser, and he is trying to ask him questions and get a feel for how he feels about Mr. Smith. He's like, do you feel like he's your father? And Tosser's like, no, I feel like he's my employer. And then he decides, okay, we're going to get intimate together. And does this hurt? And Tosser's like, no, it doesn't. I don't know what's going on here. It just kind of keeps going like that, where he's planting ideas in Tosser's head. Mm-hmm. And so we also find out that he takes sleeping pills and he has these weird dreams. And he's starting to question reality where he is.
Yeah.
He's never left his town before. And I don't know if I want to spoil it for everyone. So
I don't think you have to.
I love those super short stories. Mm-hmm. It is just so good.
I think, honestly, every single story here was so good.
Yeah.
I'm really glad. The gifts are so cute. I'm
I
so
am
happy
too.
we're doing it.
Yes.
I know that, like, Leeson has their own little advent calendar they do around the holidays. They have, like, releases of these short stories. But it's kind of nice to get through some things that we've had on our list for a while.
Yes,
so,
it is.
I am very much looking forward to next week. And we're looking forward to talking to you all on the next one.
Goodbye.
Bye.